1, 2. One. 1, 2.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Test, test. Hang on, let me clip it. 1 sec. Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test. All right. Is this on? Yeah. There's more systems today. Test, test, yeah, yeah. Testing, testing. Is it loud? Test, test. All right. How loud should it be? Because it lets you. Welcome in, everybody. Metuchen Bulldogs, Woodbridge Barons, ready to call the action here on January 20th, 2024, as Metuchen faces off against rival Woodbridge. Jared, we were talking before this one about how it's going to be a tough one for Metuchen. Woodbridge, despite their record being close to 500, just over 500 at 8-6 on the year, they're still a big school that has a lot of girls to choose from and a lot of good talent on their squad. So it's going to be a tough one for Metuchen to pull out today as they quickly fall down 4-0 to start off.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough matchup for Metuchen. Of course, Woodbridge is a bigger school, and like you said, they have a lot of talent. Metuchen just lost a heartbreaker against South River in the last couple minutes there, so this one's going to be a really tough test for them as they enter this game down 4-0.
Well, it's a 4-0 game already. Woodbridge got out to a hot start defensively and, of course, offensively, laying in 2 layups for themselves and putting on 4 points as Coach Kathy Glutz calls the first time out of the game. Starting lineup, as usual for the Bulldogs, Zanecki with the ball. She dishes to Polakowski, and also Pfeiffer's out there with Josie Gray and Caitlin Connors. Here's a shot from underneath. It rims out, rebounded by Woodbridge. Chuck bouncing inside, and they can't get the points to go. It's going to go out of bounds, last touched by a Baron for Metuchen's basketball. Jared, I wasn't here for the last game the girls had against South River. What was good? What was bad? Tell me something as we get into this next one, and Metuchen looks to get back in the win column.
You know, I was watching that game, and honestly, they weren't playing bad. It was just that their shots were not falling. Something that was really a problem for them was that offensive rebounding that they always have. They always have 3 to 4 chances on offense. It just wasn't working for them in that game. The pressure that South River was putting on them was just really too much for Metuchen to handle, and they ended up falling in that one on really a defensive game. It was pretty low scoring. 40-32 was your final there.
That is low scoring, 40-32, especially lately when Metuchen's been hitting their shots. You'd expect higher points in terms of games. So speaking of high points, by the way, Jared, and you know more about this because you've covered some more of the girls' games, Vicky Zanecki, just a sophomore, and she is unbelievable, phenomenal so far to start the season and her young career.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this last game. She is just phenomenal so far, only being a sophomore, and she already is almost going to crest 200 points in her sophomore season already. She amassed 100 points last year in her freshman year, 200 almost this year already, and there's still a bunch of games to play.
Impressive stuff as you see a three-pointer get chucked up and in. It's Jade Allen, the senior, who hit the 3 and extends the lead to 5. Now for the Barons. The Barons, a very good team. Plenty of height, plenty of talent on this squad. And we were talking before, Jared, no juniors on the entire starting roster. Actually, on the entire roster, no juniors. As you see Pfeiffer shoot the 3. Polakowski can't get the rebound. It goes the other way. So I guess a lot of that has to do with, they have a lot of senior talent. Lots and lots of seniors on this team. 5 of them, and 4 of them start. And then there's a bunch of, there's a sophomore, 4 sophomores and a freshman. But again, 0 juniors on this team, which is very interesting. And will look very interesting next year as they kind of try to form that roster and try to get some veteran leadership on the team. Obviously, next year the juniors will be seniors, but they have no juniors, so it's just kind of interesting. They'll be obviously a younger team next year, as they do kind of look like an older team this year, but with all the seniors graduating, we'll see how the team shapes up next year. Bulldogs kind of in a similar situation last year into this year. A lot of the seniors left. There's not that many juniors, but a lot of sophomores and a lot of young talent on this team. Like you said, Vicky Zanecki leading the chase as Josie Gray, the junior, pulls down the rebound. Here come the Bulldogs on a fast break. Inside, right layup, and it's good. And 1. The chance for 3 points. It's Vicky Zanecki. It's 7-4. The chance to make it 7-5.
I mean, how many times have we called her name already today? She has just been phenomenal all year for the Bulldogs, and I think she's really the spark plug that this team has needed recently, and they've stood up to the test. Besides this South River game, they hadn't lost in 2024 before this. It's already January 20th. So they were 8-0 to start the year, and now losing against South River. But, of course, she's been phenomenal, and she's been a huge part to this team's success.
Well, speaking of success, Jenna Johnson has actually had a great season herself. Just a sophomore, a senior, that she just hit that 3-pointer. And now another chance for Johnson. She goes up and gets fouled. She'll be sent to the line for 2. Jenna Johnson this season has been very good, probably leading in most categories on this squad. And Johnson this year, again, you could just look at this game and see that she does seem to be one of the taller players on the court, which gives you a size advantage down low. And there, with the chance to get a layup, she gets fouled and hits the first shot at the line. Chance for 2 points here. 11-5, Barons lead. It is high scoring early in this one. Both squads are firing away, and Johnson has now gotten 5 points in about 15 seconds as she hits the second of 2 from the line, and the Bulldogs take it the other way. Pfeiffer runs with it, directing traffic, goes to Connors, an outstanding shooter. And up goes Josie Gray at the hoop, and it goes out of bounds. I think last touched off of a Baron, and yes, it was. So it's going to be Bulldog basketball and a sub in for the Barons. Out will come Jade Allen. She hit herself a three-pointer earlier. And a chance from the corner, no good. It rimmed out. Josie Gray misses her second of the day. Now comes the Barons on the offensive break. Outside, moving right. They are a good shooting team, as we've seen early in this one. A quick steal. Pfeiffer got the ball right into her chest. Quick break up to the hoop. It is no good. Overshot it on the layup was Connors. Those were a chance for 2 free points, and they couldn't get it to go. Shot from underneath, pulled down by Josie Gray. And Gray will take the girls across the timeline. I should say Connors will take the girls across the timeline. Pfeiffer for 3. She can shoot it, and there she goes. Bang from range. And it's Sam Pfeiffer to split the lead in half.
And that was a lot of what we were lacking, really. Sam Pfeiffer had a great day, actually, against South River last game, that loss. But she was shooting threes very well, especially towards the end of that game to give Metuchen almost a little life there before South River pulled away in the last couple minutes. But this is a meaningful game for Woodbridge and Metuchen, really. We're talking conference records for both of these teams. Woodbridge third in the GMC White division, Metuchen second in the GMC Blue. So this is a very meaningful game for conference records for both. And Metuchen, having only played the most games in the GMC Blue division so far, their record is already a little impacted from just the overload of games compared to some other teams. Spotswood is 7-0 in their division. Metuchen 7-2, so they're not out of it yet.
And as we missed, there was a Barons three-pointer and then a missed layup, and here comes Woodbridge again. Their offense looks on fire right now. The three-pointer was by Angel Smith. It was a deep one, and they're going to have the ball inbounded offensively while Metuchen will make a sub. That seems to be Pallotta subbing in for Gray.
And we've already seen a couple three-pointers from Woodbridge. I know you were at that South River game for the boys on Wednesday, and you saw some crazy three-point shooting there, too.
Yeah. I wasn't able to get to this South River game. The boys and girls played South River at the same time, actually. But the boys were playing a tough one against South River, as South River was pretty much hitting all of their shots, led by their main guy, Alex Grosby. At a fadeaway jumper, no good on the chance there from that looked to be Johnson, and she couldn't get it to go. Now Polakowski with it. She kicks down to the corner, going strong side, goes off the glass and no good, just rolled over. That was Zanecki. And now off the glass. Oh, couldn't get the kiss to go. So it's still going to remain a 7-point game. Now Metuchen's down by 7, but they look to be playing better as the ball goes out of bounds on the Barons. Going to stick with blue, I think is the call. Yeah. And, the score doesn't exactly reflect it due to the 7-point lead, almost double their score, but they do look to be playing really good basketball, and it is clear that there's advantages in many ways for Woodbridge. They have some height, maybe even some talent advantages, being a bigger school, right? But this is a good game for Metuchen. They're hanging in there right now, and we'll see how they're able to leg it out as the game kind of progresses. At home, in front of a good amount of fans today, at least for a Saturday. This is a good crowd, so we'll see how it goes as the shooter from range doesn't get it to go. Jenna Johnson now playing press defense.
And we saw that press defense work against Metuchen a little bit earlier in the game where they jumped out to that 4-0 lead.
Yeah.
We saw Metuchen sort of not on their front foot yet, and that's what we saw a lot of in that South River game, like that Connors fast break and Zanecki under the rim, where these shots just weren't falling and we weren't capitalizing on the rebounds, and that's why we were losing possession so quickly.
Pfeiffer shot and missed 2 3-pointers, strong on both of them, just overshot them a little bit. And the whole game plan, it seems to be revolving around get a shooter, get Sam Pfeiffer to take that shot, and then you have Zanecki underneath the rim in case it's a miss, right? That's kind of worked very well, I think, for them as an overall strategy this season. Pfeiffer really can shoot the rock, and then obviously Zanecki with good height and a lot of skill underneath, able to get the rebounds and points as a result a lot of the time. So I think that's really their strategy. If Pfeiffer's open, let her shoot it. If not, if she's not open, get the ball to her and find out what's going to happen. And maybe even Zanecki will get the rebound and some points afterwards. 15-8, we'll see if they keep this strategy. Defensively looking very strong are the Bulldogs, but some three-pointers have been the fault of them. And here's another three-pointer on the way, and it banks in a long shot from range. 18-8, Woodbridge is hot from outside. That's their fourth three-pointer, and they look really good right now.
And this is not even a testament to Metuchen's defense. I think they've played okay defense so far. It's just that they've been shooting so well from the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Gray with it in the corner. This is a good trap they run defensively, getting you out of bounds essentially when you try to drive. Here's a shot from the corner. It toilet bowls out, no good. Under 25 ticks to go. They take it across the timeline, now up by 10. Johnson with it to her right, dishes. Working from the top. Vanessa Morales, a three-pointer that was no good from Angel. And the rebound's no good. The toilet bowl's out. 6-5-4. Connors to the rim. She makes her way 1 second with good speed. She looked to be fouled on the way up. That's great. A great job there by Connors to draw the foul when points weren't exactly guaranteed. There were under 5 seconds when she started dribbling across the line, and she's able to draw the foul with a chance for some points.
Right, and that type of a play is really perfect for Metuchen because those points, like you said, were not guaranteed. That's not a guaranteed shot, and she's just putting something up, but it's great on her to draw the foul and hopefully get some points here.
Morales fouled her on the way up. That's her first foul of the game. 0.6 seconds left in the first quarter as we have ourselves a really good game. But Woodbridge has just had too much offensively for Metuchen, and they can't really handle it right now. And both free throws don't go in, so doesn't end up really bothering Woodbridge too much as they lead by 10 at the end of the first quarter, Jared. It's a really strong start for Woodbridge, right? Their offense looks really good. Sometimes there's just nothing you can do defensively to stop that, right?
Right, and Metuchen's had some of their fast breaks so far. It's just that Woodbridge has been shooting so well. I mean, they've been able to use their height down inside the paint and get some layups, but they've also had really a lot of three-pointers represented in their score. Yeah, which is the problem for Metuchen so far.
Yeah, there's actually nothing you can do sometimes to guard that. As long as the shots are going in, it's not an easy thing to do to defend them because you can't stop the line of traffic, and that ball is going to go in if you're taking the shots the right way. So hard to defend for Metuchen, but if they're able to start to find their rhythm defensively, they might have a lot of more success in the final three quarters. But as of now, 18-8. We'll step aside for now. Bulldogs trail by 10 headed to the second quarter. Back in player the Bulldogs now. Pfeiffer with it on the right wing. She moves to the top. The key back over to Pfeiffer was the pass from Pilata. The girls out there, 4 starters and 1 sixth man, and that's Pilata. Here's a shot from range. Deep ball. It was airballed by Pfeiffer. Swatted back in to save it was Pilata, but it's going to be out of bounds regardless, says the ref. And 7:40 to go. Bulldogs still trail by 10 in the final 7.5 of the half.
And honestly, Coach Glutz has probably told her team so far to just lock up the arc so far for their shooting. I mean, 4 3-pointers, 12 of their 18 points have been from range, which is tough to guard, yes, but it's something that you definitely need to stress as you go down the line here for Metuchen is trying to really, stop that too. That's very difficult to stop some of those plays down low into the rim.
going to call a defensive foul on Pallotta just before the shot went up. So it's not going to matter, those points. They won't count. It's going to stay with the Barons. They're going to inbound from the baseline. Little bouncer. And a travel that was against Woodbridge. Aaliyah Fularn, starter senior, who moved with it down low, and the Bulldogs have the chance with the ball again. So, again, Jared, their defense looks strong, and although they've allowed 18 points, this is one of their better defensive games we've seen from Metuchen. Just the offense seems to be lacking a little bit as they go to Zanecki. She keeps it in bounds, goes outside. Connors for three. Couldn't get it to go. Pulled down by Gray, who loves to get those rebounds, but she can't get the layup to go. And there's under 7 to go in the first half.
Right, and some of the problem for Metuchen really last game was not their defense, it was their scoring. They only scored 9 points total in the first half, which was really the killer for them. They've already scored 8 into the second quarter, so let's see how they can do the rest of this quarter.
For three, just bricked off of the back of the rim. Now back over on the chance for Johnson, who can't get it to go. Again, too strong for her. Pfeiffer goes over the top. Beautiful pass to Connors, who's defended well. She flips over inside, but it can't be held onto by Zanecki. And now back defensively. Here's a fast charge for White. Going up. Johnson gets it to go. Foul on the field on Metuchen. It's a 3-point chance now, and it's 20-8.
They called the basket off on that one, but still, I mean, that is a great play that Metuchen's just having trouble stopping so far. And it's on the other end, it's some of these fast break points that they can't get to go that's really been their killer so far.
And whether that equates to a 3 or a layup, the fast break has really killed the Bulldogs defensively, although they have been strong this game. If there's anything to critique, it has been, I think, the fast break. And a lot of that has to do with the offense, right? That's probably more at the offense's fault than the defense's, because they're losing the ball on their chances, and then it creates chances for fast breaks for Woodbridge. So I think this isn't even actually something to gripe on their defense. It's more so something to gripe on the offense. So here comes Zanecki. She's fighting for it. Goes underneath to Polakowski. Polakowski goes outside to Pfeiffer. She's hit 1 3 today, but can't get another one. Not yet, at least. Zanecki, great job to save the ball. For 3, Connors from nowhere hits the 3 and cuts the lead to 7. That's a great shot to take there. Wide open, and she nails the 3-pointer.
That was an insane shot by Connors there, and she's really come into her own this year. We saw last year some sparks, and, she was outshined by her sister as well, who was the senior Cassie Connors. But her Caitlin Connors has really been spectacular this year for the Bulldogs, and she's earning her spot next year as one of those real leaders that you can rally behind.
We're going to have an offensive foul, I believe, on Woodbridge. Yep, that's going to be a call against Jenna Johnson, and the Bulldogs with a little bit of momentum will get a timeout and talk things over. So look a little better now for Metuchen with a little, again, momentum. They've cut the lead to 7 after the 3-pointer. Again, let's try to appreciate the effort there by Zanecki to keep the ball. It was going out of bounds. She found Pfeiffer inbounds to keep it in play, and then Pfeiffer found Connors for the 3-pointer. So an awesome play all around for the Bulldogs as they get the 3, and now they have the ball, a chance to really cut into that lead a little more here in the second quarter.
Right, and I think that's just something that Metuchen needs to continue with so far. Now that they have the ball, I think it's just managing some of these aching problems so far for Metuchen. The press defense and Woodbridge's offense so far that's been able to penetrate in the paint and from 3. I think it's just some of these problems that you need to clean up, and if they do, I think they can definitely come back and get right back into this and probably take a lead going into the half, which is ideal.
Yeah, we'll see if they can advance their momentum, which they've gotten just very recently. Here comes Connors. She comes underneath, and she gets the points. That was not Connors. That was Polakowski. But nonetheless, it's 2 more for the team, and it's 5 points that separate the 2.
And that's just something that's really great for the Bulldogs, capitalizing on the opportunity you were given. Offensive foul on the other side of the floor turns into points on Metuchen's side. So that's a great job by Polakowski to put that in.
Under 5 minutes to go, 5-point game. A good timeout, I guess, for Glutz, as her team was able to get more points out of the whistle. Swatted, it looked like out of bounds on the Barons. It will be the call that they go with, and the Bulldogs, after Alyssa Pollock touched the ball last, will get the ball. Nice pass into Polakowski by Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer floats a not such a great pass. That was not Pfeiffer. That was intended for Pfeiffer. That was Zanecki who couldn't complete the pass. 5 points again separate them as they have the ball now. They're going to call a foul, I think, on the Barons. that will be the call. Defensive foul on Jade Allen. She looked like she reached in a little bit.
And this press defense for Metuchen so far, they're having a little bit of trouble getting it up the court, and you just saw there that pass that was intended for Pfeiffer that didn't work out.
Right, but it also causes a lot of fouls, and Barons have fouled a whole lot this game. So keep an eye on that as well. But you're right, good defensive strategy that they've made for themselves. And there you go, some more points. Pfeiffer, that was Pfeiffer on a great pass to her. And it's a 3-point game, Jared.
That was a great play there by Metuchen overall. I mean, the pass to get it up past half court and get past the press defense, and then finding Zanecki coming down the lane, really barreling right down, and she was able to put in that reverse layup. Great job by Zanecki.
Impressive look for the Dogs. You see how much one three-pointer can shift the momentum.
Right.
As that Connors three-pointer, which kind of was just chucked up, has changed and shifted this momentum after the timeout too. So it's looking really good for the Bulldogs as long as they stay strong defensively and keep it going. Here's a three, a big one from the corner. No good, pulled down again by Zanecki, who's been a rebound machine. And here come the Dogs again. Chance to do as much as a tie game on this drive. Polakowski couldn't hold on to it, and they say it was last touch off of her hands. And it's going to be Barons basketball.
And I think that was just a little bit of a forced pass there. You had a little bit of time to settle that inside the lane. I think just finding the player under the basket, which was really double covered there by Woodbridge, was not the smartest pass, but like you said, the momentum has definitely shifted so far in this game.
It's a great thing to see if you're Metuchen. It's been a very entertaining first half and a high-scoring one at that. This is sometimes a score that you see at halftime, 18-15, stuff like that, maybe a little higher, but the point is, both teams are scoring at a rapid pace, and Woodbridge has slowed down their offense a little bit ever since Metuchen has kind of come on, but it's definitely been exciting to watch this, as Metuchen has, by the way, scored 7 unanswered points. Here's Pfeiffer to her left, dribbling weak side, goes off the glass, can't get it to go off of the square, and now come the Barons on a fast break, which is where they have gotten most of their points. Jumper from inside, can't get it to go, and that was, again, a shot by Johnson, who seems to be constructing most of this Woodbridge offense, has been through Johnson. Here comes a three, overshot it again for Pfeiffer. She's just been a little bit too strong on most of her three-pointers today.
And we know Pfeiffer likes to shoot. And Caitlin Connors as well likes to shoot like she just did there. When those two players are both shooting well, it's really good for the Bulldogs.
And she can't get another one to go, so it's going to be ripped down by Woodbridge. And passed up to the baseline to Morales. Now back to Johnson. Johnson to her left. She takes a deep two-pointer, and she gets it to fall, but that's only a two-pointer. Keeps it at a 5-point game. Still 2 possessions. Dogs have to get some offense going. And Pfeiffer's not shooting all her shots perfectly right now, so maybe go somewhere else offensively, Jared, as there's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to be Bulldog ball as Gray gets inbounded.
And it's interesting that Coach Glutz is sort of changing her personnel at this point of the game. Right now she's taking Vicky Zanecki out for a little breather, but we've seen her use her bench a little bit, and in these close games, we really don't see her take out her starting 5 very much. Normally, you only see one player traded in or out. I'm surprised that she's taking out Vicky Zanecki there because she's been the leading rebounder so far for this team, but let's see how it works out so far for the Bulldogs.
Here they come now across the timeline, and a timeout called, I think, by Coach Glutz, and they'll talk things over. 2 minutes to go. So we'll step aside for now while we wait for the next little segment, the final minutes of the first half. 20-15, Barons lead. You're watching here on the Bulldog Report. back in action here as the Bulldogs lead by just trail by just 5 points. It was much more just a couple minutes ago. And it's a steal for the Barons. They take it across the line. Here comes Johnson. She takes a shot from the baseline, and it's no good. Second chance, it's good for the Woodbridge Barons, and they're able to get the points that they want here to extend it to now 7 points in 3 possessions.
Metuchen having a little trouble there to get it up court, but now that they finally do, they find the player down low in Ella Polakowski. That one's no good, but you know, finding the player down in the baseline so far has really been open for the Bulldogs, and it's because they've been playing press coverage as Woodbridge that Metuchen has just had trouble getting past. But once they do, it's turned into points a lot.
It has, and you know, you have to hold strong here as Woodbridge is looking to kind of have a little bit of momentum here, as they've gotten 2 baskets in a row consecutively. With 1:09 to go, you want to finish strong here for Metuchen. Preferably, we always say you want to keep it within 10 in the you know, at halftime if you're looking to make a comeback. And right now, they're looking to their goal is to keep it 1 possession. That's what we say. So a travel on the way to the hoop. Bulldogs with the ball, 59.2 seconds left as it goes back to Polakowski. This press defense is very strong on the front half, and then once you get past them, it's very hard, you know, for them to be able to maintain something. And luckily for them, Metuchen has missed a couple of layups that has, you know, come as a result of the weak defense in the backcourt, but we'll see how they're able to hold up here with the final 50 seconds of the half.
But like we just saw, that defense turned into a foul, so this is a great time for Metuchen to capitalize right before the half.
Almost a steal, but it's going to be called a foul on Jade Allen. That should be her 2nd foul of the game.
And I believe that's the 3rd foul of the possession, if I'm correct. 2nd or 3rd. So
yeah, they're fouling a whole lot in this one. Yeah.
And that's something to really capitalize on if you're Metuchen, these opportunities that Woodbridge is giving you.
4 fouls. 1 more will create a bonus. Here's Connors. She goes underneath. Now a chance at the hoop. Couldn't use the backboard from the side. Now she goes again. That was Zanecki who can't get it to fall. Pulled down by the Dogs. 3-pointer for Pfeiffer. No good again from her outside. Pfeiffer now inside. Gets swatted away. Absolutely swatted away by Johnson. And now here she comes across the line. Inside to the paint. 7-6. She's fouled. So she'll shoot 2. Two shots at the line now with 6.9 seconds to go. First one was good. Second one, now she'll shoot, and she's perfect from the line today. That's pretty impressive stuff. 5 seconds left in the half. Trailing by 9 are the Dogs. 3 seconds. 2. Here's a 3-pointer. No good by Connors, and they'll have to go to the locker room with that. 9-point lead for the Barons, Jared, as here on the Bulldog Report. What are you thinking as Metuchen has to try to come back now at the end of the half?
I think they've scored well so far. I think it's just more of these shooting opportunities and these fast break opportunities that Woodbridge is giving you that you have to capitalize on a little bit more, since you know their offense has been really strong so far. Is Woodbridge? They've attacked the rim very well. They've been 3-point shooting very well, although we haven't seen one in a while. I think that is going to come back in the third quarter, and I think Coach Glutz just has to stress that to her team and say, hey, like, be careful when you get into a situation like this, because down by 9, you really can't have any of these killer 3-point shots when you're starting to get momentum.
Absolutely. 9 minutes to go until we open up the second half. But for now, we'll step aside as the Bulldogs trail by 9 here on the Bulldog Report. Ike Bush and Jared Popek. We'll see you in 9 minutes. Ready to go here, back for the second half. Welcome back in, everybody, here on the Bulldog Report. Ike Bush and Jared Popek will be taking you the rest of the way as it's shaping up to be a pretty good one here at Metuchen High School. 24-15 is the score in favor of the Barons, who have just, if you're new, been making every single shot, it feels, from outside. A lot on the back of Jenna Johnson, number 20. Keep an eye on her. She's right now underneath guarding the deep zone. And it's going to go out on Metuchen. Barons will inbound with 7:50, just 10 seconds into the second half, as this offense is lethal. We saw it in the first half. They probably didn't even score as much as they were capable of, the way that they work as a machine, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, Woodbridge has retained a lot of their pressure, which has meant that they've been very handsy so far. They've gotten a lot of fouls called against them, which has helped Metuchen a little bit, but I think there's just some things to clean up if you're really Woodbridge and Metuchen, but Metuchen more with their shooting and with their defense.
Well, they use very aggressive defense. That's another thing. It helps to translate into strong offense and aggressive defense, but sometimes it's not exactly great because it won't pay off always. If you're playing aggressive press defense, sometimes that comes to bite you later on, and we've seen that a little bit as we saw a jump ball. Metuchen wasn't going to be on the long end of the stick there. It's going to go towards Woodbridge's area. They'll get another chance with the ball after a missed layup.
Like that play exactly right there. If Vicky Zanecki gets that rebound, you normally just, jog back and you get back into your zone, but they fought for that ball. They called it a jump ball, not a foul, jump ball, and they got the ball right back, turned it into points.
Jenna Johnson made the layup, or the jumper. And wow, great job to pull down the rebound after the missed Josie Gray chance. And Vicky Zanecki, Jared and I talked at halftime, and we think that Vicky should probably get the ball a little more, at least in scoring opportunities. She's had a lot of rebounds, a lot of jobs to, go get points. Not many jobs to go get points. A lot of role player jobs like defense, and wow, another shot goes in. For some more points for the Barons, and that was Johnson again, who's the only scorer for Woodbridge in the second half. But here comes Pfeiffer, and she gets some points. Oh, she won't get the points of her own. Gray pulls down the rebound, goes outside. This is a deep two, but it's good by Connors. So some decent offense here for the Bulldogs.
I think that Woodbridge's offense has just been more and more lethal with time. I think Sam Pfeiffer has just been a little bit strong on all of her chances so far today, but everyone else so far has been pretty good. I mean, it's just a defensive effort so far for the Bulldogs that needs to be sustained for if they want to get back into this game.
So floated back up to Johnson, who launches another three, but this one won't go in. Pulled down chance, and she's fouled up on the way to the hoop. That was Aaliyah Fullarn, excuse me. Fullarn's been really good at grabbing rebounds today.
And I don't necessarily know if that was the correct call there. I think I was just looking at Ella Polakowski standing, and she was completely straight up. So I don't necessarily know if that was the right call, but it's just some of those calls that have been blown dead today that you need to take advantage of.
Right, not exactly always going in Metuchen's direction. And we see it there. First shot bricks. And the second chance would make it an 8-point game if she can hit it. Fullarn from the line. And she hits it. So she splits the pair. Makes it an 8-point game. Pfeiffer splits the first two defenders. Goes over to Zanecki. Zanecki goes to Gray. Gray might have been fouled, but she won't get the call her way. Well, yes, she will, actually. After a little bit of time, Gray will be fouled. Or not.
She will foul.
Yeah, she fouled. I mean, honestly, maybe it was just our angle, but it looked like she got swatted on the way up. But I guess that's just kind of the lack of great quality from this huddle camera sometimes in certain angles. Here's a chance from the corner. Overshot it. Pulled down by Pfeiffer, who moves to her left. Was she pushed? They're not going to give her a call. Hasn't taken a shot here in the second half yet. Took a lot in the first and couldn't get any but one to go, at least from range. Zanecki gets locked up, and they're going to call it a travel on her. So she walked with the ball near the paint, and now it's going to be a Barons ball.
That's the problem so far for Metuchen is when Woodbridge actually establishes their defense first inside the zone, it seems like they've been running into a wall every time they've tried to enter the paint. The only time that they've gotten into the paint successfully is when they beat that press defense first and get in before Woodbridge does.
Here's Johnson, and she's unbelievable, but she can't hit that shot. I mean, her handles, I've noticed, are really, really nice, and that's kind of what sets her apart, I think, from a lot of the other players, as she gets a steal and then gives it to Falarn, and Falarn goes back to her. Now she comes near the three-point line, between the legs, now with her right hand. She's dribbling, moving right. This is the entire offense we're witnessing. Johnson likes to dish the ball around. This is a missed three-point chance, pulled down by Falarn. Falarn for two, can't get it to go. Pulled down again by Falarn. She throws it back up. She whips it out of Zanecki's hands and into the basket. They're not going to count those points. I think they're going to call it a jump ball from just before, but Falarn with some monstrous attitude underneath, looking like a beast, can't get the points to fall, and it's going to be the girls, the Metuchen girls' ball with 4:25 in the third quarter. 29-21 is our score.
I feel like compared to the other games that we've really watched here on the Bulldog Report, this has been one of the more aggressive games so far for both sides.
Absolutely, and it's also been a higher scoring game as a result. So aggressiveness either causes points for your team or the other team if it goes wrong on your end. So, yeah, absolutely, I think so too. Here comes Pfeiffer. She's guarded. Looks to be man coverage for two, a deep two. Palata's chance no good. Here's a breakaway. Johnson is going to pass over, and the layup is no good. There's an open chance there. Here comes Zanecki. Oh, they're going to call a foul. I think that was on the offense. Zanecki charged, they say. That's going to be her third foul, so keep an eye on that. Don't want her to foul out. Obviously, the key player of this offense. And defense, for that matter. And here they come. Barron's with it. Now moving to her left is Johnson. And it's going to go Metuchen's way as she had traveled with it.
And it's some of those calls, the travels and the ticky-tack fouls that you're going to need to take advantage of and capitalize on. As Woodbridge is giving them chances, it's just that they have to really capitalize and finalize on these chances, of course, because Woodbridge is taking advantage of every chance they've gotten so far.
Yeah, there's an incredible play and effort by Angel Smith. Here's an open man underneath, or girl underneath, I should say. And here's a chance. Oh, can't get it to go. Zanecki far too strong on that chance. Chucked up the other way, and that's not gonna matter, as it's gonna be a foul beforehand underneath on Metuchen, and a timeout as they'll talk things over. Jared, if you're head coach Kathy Glutz, you know what I'm going to ask. What do you tell your team to help them get back into this game now, trailing by 10 with just over 10 minutes in total to go?
I think you just have to clean up some of your mistakes and capitalize on the chances that you've been given, because they've gotten a decent share of chances so far in this game. Woodbridge has given them some leeway with the foul trouble and the travels and missed threes. I think they just need to take advantage of the press defense and actually use it to your advantage. You have to use the fast break to your advantage, use your valuable three-point shooters, and you really just have to lock down on defense. I think that's the most important thing, because Woodbridge's offense over time so far in this game has gotten more and more lethal.
I agree. So it's 11:09 in total for the rest of the game, because the 8-minute fourth quarter. So Metuchen has more than enough time to put something together. They do just have to probably start at some point soon if they want to really get started, really be able to have some success make like a really good run here. And they have the ability with their offense and defense, for that matter. Question is, when can they start and how can they start? So we'll see when that happens. Bulldogs will be on defense after the foul. So Barron's now across the Bulldog logo. Angel Smith with it. She goes over to Johnson. Johnson moves to her right, takes a jumper. She's great from mid-range. We've seen it today. But it's whipped down by Polakowski. And now Connors with it across the logo. Connors upstairs. Zanecki. The kiss off the glass. 8-point game. What a play. What a find by Connors to find the open receiver right underneath the net. And it's an 8-point game.
That man has been open more times than it has not so far in this game. I think it's just Metuchen's difficulty in finding that man open.
And it was going to be a foul on the Barons defensively, and that's what they'll call. 8-point game. Bulldogs with the ball. Foul on Angel Smith, her second of this game. Here's Pfeiffer with it. She goes bouncing to Connors. Connors from the logo goes 2 bounces right. Finds Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer has not shot the second half still. Goes outside. Connors for 3. Deep ball, and she gets it to go. Cuts the lead to 5. And Jared, we talked about how three-pointers can really shift the momentum. Do you think something's going on with the Bulldogs now, as it's only a 5-point game?
We saw it from Caitlin Connors before that sparked some momentum. I'd love to see it now. I mean, that was a great shot by Connors to put it up, take advantage of that chance, and again, Woodbridge just killing the momentum immediately.
Yeah, but that was not a 3, actually, because I think Johnson's toes were on the line. So it'll only be a 2-pointer, but nonetheless, a great job to respond and slap them right back in the face with 2 more points of your own. And now Pfeiffer with it. She'll go outside to Pallotta. Pallotta back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, the point guard, finds another player outside. Going towards the baseline, she was fouled, and that will be on Woodbridge. Alyssa Pollock with her second foul of this one.
And nonetheless, Metuchen still does have a lot of the momentum. We can hear the crowd noise from here, and it is starting to get louder and louder. I mean, it is a good crowd we are seeing here today on a very, very cold Saturday.
For 3, Pfeiffer again too strong from range. It does seem like, something is off about her, just her rhythm. Usually she's an elite shooter, right? But just having a little bit of a struggle today, it's okay, just having one of those off days for Pfeiffer. I'm sure she'll be back to normal by next game, or even as we come down the stretch in this one, as she gets a nice steal. She's an excellent passer, and she finds Connors, who takes it to the top of the key. Now over to Vicky Zanecki, and Zanecki gets a 2-pointer, and now it's a 5-point game under a minute in the third of 4 stages.
I think the commentator's curse has worked a little bit in your favor, because you were saying that they haven't been using Vicky Zanecki on the offensive end enough. She's been very active in this stretch.
Either that, or Miss Glutz was watching the exact same game we were and saying, well, we are not using our best player enough, right? And they're finally starting to use her, and it's looking really good for the Bulldogs point-wise. So we'll see how it lines up. Maybe the commentator's curse can help the Bulldogs out a lot as we come down the stretch. 43 seconds in the third quarter to go. We'll step aside for now, talk things over when we get back as the Bulldogs trail 5 here on the Bulldog Report. Back in play here with 43 ticks to go in the third quarter. Metuchen looking to make this a one-possession game for the first time since the first quarter, as Polakowski with it. Actually, Zanecki. She goes all the way across to Connors. Connors floats one to Pfeiffer. Does she take another one? Yes, she does. Oh, can't get it to go. Swatted down. Zanecki. Oh, she missed a layup. She doesn't do that too often. Zanecki underneath, usually able to hit those layups, but can't quite get it to fall. And it's going to be 14 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Barons with the chance to extend some things. Crossover. Johnson's an excellent shooter. Bricks it. 4-3. 2. Connors from lined up with the logo. That one not too close, and it's a 5-point game, though. Metuchen outscores Woodbridge by 4 points in the first quarter of the second half. We'll see what they can do in the second quarter of the second half in the fourth quarter as they trail down just by 5, 33-28, Jared.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the score at the end of the first half was 24-15 in favor of Woodbridge.
Yes.
Look at the score now.
Yep.
33-28. So Woodbridge has only scored 4. Metuchen has scored 18 points in that third quarter. So definitely an improvement for the Bulldogs. I love the surge I'm seeing.
No, it was 24-15, so they scored 13.
Oh, right. Yes.
Metuchen scored 13, and they scored 9.
I was looking at it the
Yeah,
wrong way,
right. Reversed it. Yeah.
but yes, I mean this is a great surge regardless for the
Yeah,
Bulldogs.
regardless.
They've come within 5, and now they're really within striking distance with 8 minutes to play. Anything can happen in this fourth quarter.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter as Kathy Klutz will talk things over with her squad. And, again, Woodbridge has some things to work on. They have to refine some things because now Metuchen's starting to use Vicky Zanecki. And Woodbridge doesn't exactly have a defense for that, right? They have a defense for the shots, the three-pointers, all that, even mid-range jumpers. But they don't really have that defense for Zanecki when she gets under the glass and she's really pounding the glass. That's been tough for them to defend ever since they've started using Zanecki. And ever since they have, Metuchen's had a little bit of surge of points. So 5-point lead in favor of the Barons, who have the ball with 7:54. Metuchen has to hold good defense if they want to be able to make a little bit of a run here. Deep jumper pulled down. Great job by Gray to get it. Pfeiffer, who's all over the place, always everywhere when you need her, able to get the ball. Now outside, they tried to get a pass from Polakowski to Gray, and now a fast break as a result. Chance on the fast break, and they get the points to go. That's Morales with her third and fourth points of the day. Pfeiffer to the corner. Pfeiffer to the baseline. Pfeiffer on a bounce pass to Zanecki, and now back up to Connors goes Zanecki. Gray from range, no good. Pulled down by Smith. Smith now across the the timeline, and now stolen. A great job there by Zanecki, and the Bulldogs have it with 7 minutes.
Well, these games are going to start to get more and more meaningful down the stretch for really both teams. Woodbridge, 4th place currently in the GMC White Division. Metuchen, 2nd in the GMC Blue. So these games are very, very important. This is an out-of-conference or out-of-division game, but these games are going to start to matter a lot, and Metuchen's got to capitalize on their opportunities.
That was an excellent job by Smith to get those points. Off balance, hitting a layup that they really could have used, and now 9-point lead. That's a big difference from 5. I mean, I know it's 4 points, but the difference between a 5 and a 9-point game is pretty heavy, and they get those important points there. Bouncer off of the shoe of Johnson, or not Johnson, Smith. Zanecki throws. Connors from 3, can't go, off the rim, it bricks up. Now it's pulled down, a 2-point chance, and Morales has now made it a double-digit point game, 11.
And now that this lead is increasing here for Woodbridge, I think Metuchen's just come out a little bit on their flat foot. I don't want to see them start to get desperate. Like that 3-point chance there, I think you just retain the possession and another 3-pointer. You just have to try and get as many points as you can, not just chuck up threes just to get back inside the game.
Sam shot a 3 again and wasn't able to make it fall. And it's going to be white ball with 5:59 to go in a 9-point game. So here they come across the line. Woodbridge with all the momentum there is to have here in the fourth quarter. And it's going to stay Woodbridge ball.
I mean, I like the fight from Metuchen so far. I think it just hasn't been represented in the score sheet. They're yet to have any points here in the fourth quarter. Woodbridge, of course, has 6 points. So they've had 3 possessions where they've had points fall. Metuchen has not cracked the scoreboard yet in the fourth quarter. I think I just want them to not get desperate here and try and just get some points on the board, get back inside this game.
To her right goes Johnson, and she lost it. It's actually going to stay this direction. Yeah, Metuchen's not getting any. When things are going wrong, they really always go wrong. They go far wrong, and Metuchen's having trouble even getting calls their way. And again, Zanecki with her fourth foul. So keep an eye on Zanecki's foul count. You don't want her to foul out in this game.
Right.
Here's Pfeiffer. And it goes out of bounds on last touched, I think, by Folarn, and it's going to be Zanecki to inbound. Quick one. Ooh, bounced. Ooh, down goes Johnson. Hard contact between some of the players down there, and Johnson went down. I think it's going to stay, though, with blue. That's what they'll call it. So Zanecki will throw it in. She's got 4 options. Connors looks pretty open. Let her take a shot, but she's kind of deep. Pfeiffer with it. Back to Connors. She kicks a 3. Oh, can't get it to go. Zanecki's second chance is good. Always reliable. Vicky Zanecki makes it a 9-point game with 5 minutes left.
Something that hasn't been reliable, although on the other side, has been the three-point shooting. I think they just need to capitalize on getting it to your safest option, which so far has been Vicky Zanecki under the rim. We've called that many times.
So she floats it. That was Connors floating to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer's chance, no good again, and she just got it off the rim. Struggling day for Sam Pfeiffer. And here come the Barons. Johnson towards the elbow. Back out now on the kick from Folarn to Johnson. Johnson with great handles goes over the top to Morales. Johnson guarded by Connors. She really does have good handles, Jared. And there's a shot from mid-range pulled down by Johnson, and she gets the second chance to go and makes it 11 points.
It's something you really don't see very often. Jenna Johnson has been fantastic this year, the second highest scorer on Woodbridge's roster. They've been phenomenal so far this year. I think, Coach Glutz, that's a valuable timeout there, down 11. You need to put something together here.
Yeah, we've seen with timeouts how important they've been for Metuchen in this game, and Woodbridge for that matter. When you call them and then right afterwards go back out there, sometimes they make a big impact. And even the break after the third quarter, when Metuchen was starting to get some momentum just before the fourth quarter, that timeout, so to speak, or just the break in time that they had was really important for Woodbridge to sort of reset, right? So we're going to just show you a little bit of the highlights that we from the points on our little instant replay device. And check this out. There's that three-pointer chance, and then rip down. Zanecki's able to get it, and then soon after, Woodbridge is able to respond. But that's a good little highlight there by Zanecki, who's able to get the rebound. And again, Jared, like you said, three-point shooting has been a struggle. No doubt about it. But getting rebounds, getting the second basket afterwards hasn't been too much of a problem for them, and it's been actually very impressive for them to see. So if you want to see the other play again, this is Connors coming to the baseline, then Zanecki again. Like, just routine stuff. Zanecki getting what she can and nailing the points. So we're back in action here with the real game you were watching live. There's a shot which was way overshot by Connors. I thought Connors has looked pretty good today. She hit 2 important three-pointers for Metuchen. Sometimes Connors ends up using more of a pass-first look, and I think that she's got a good enough shooter where she doesn't have to do that. She can shoot more than she does and benefit the team.
Right, I think if you had to choose your 2 necessarily stars of the game so far for Metuchen, it's been Vicky Zanecki and Caitlin Connors so far. They've both been phenomenal, and they've kept the team in this game thus far. I'd like to see a little bit of a spark here and maybe one of those magic three-pointers from Caitlin Connors to sort of get them going. It's already happened twice today.
We'll see if they can keep that going. Here's Connors now on a fast break. She's guarded, though, by a couple of the defenders. Connors goes underneath. There's Zanecki, and she gets him to fall and keep it, back into a one-digit lead. Very different stuff. Still 9 points that separate them, but Metuchen may be able to enhance some momentum as Morales floats one for Folarn. And they're going to call it a jump ball, which will go Metuchen's way. Interesting. Good job again by Connors to get involved there. She's not quite as big, but she's physical, and she's able to keep the jump ball.
And hopefully this starts to move the momentum in Metuchen's direction. This little push here by Connors and Zanecki that is really helping Metuchen so far.
Here is Pallotta. Here's a three from Connors. Can't get it. Just hit off the back rim. Ripped down by Jenna Johnson.
And the problem is, we were talking about this last game, me, Jacob, and Luke Krumholtz. We were saying you can't try to win the game with every single pass or every single shot. Like, you have to sort of, it's a process of finding that momentum, but it's not just going to happen on one play.
Absolutely. And off of a Bulldog, last touched by Polakowski. Here's Johnson. Into the paint. Goes outside to Smith. That was not Smith. That was Folarn. And she was fouled on the way to the hoop. So 2 shots for her in the chance. Foul number 3. At least team foul number 3 for the Bulldogs. Pfeiffer's first foul this game. First one gets an unlucky bounce. Keeps the score at 9 points. Both don't go. Bulldogs get the rebound, Jared. And here they come with the ball.
That's actually really important for the Bulldogs. A lot of those foul opportunities are going to start to arise when Metuchen starts to foul here down 9. But 2 misses is very important.
Look at this. Feeds Zanecki. Not 1, but 2 chances underneath, and she doesn't get either actually there. So,
and if that goes, that's a 4-point swing. So that is something that you need to battle back with. That's your response, making that.
Yep. That's exactly right. Well, they still have a chance for that 4-point swing, but Pfeiffer lost the ball. They're going to keep it in the direction of the Bulldogs, luckily for them, as it hit off of a knee, I believe, of Smith. So, by the way, there hasn't been much subbing for the Barons. We've seen 8 different Metuchen players, 9 even, actually. Haven't seen too many different Barons besides their top 5, and Pfeiffer airballs the 3, but Zanecki, that's what she's there for, cleaning up down low. 7 points separate them. Let's hope it's not too little too late for the Dogs with 1:36 to go.
I think a lot of things can happen in this last minute and a half. I wouldn't call them out of it just yet, but them holding the ball here is going to be a little bit tricky because they're wasting time.
Yep, no shot clock, as we mentioned so much in high school sports. As the shot from range, it was not a 3, but that one is a clutch shot for Jade Allen, her first buckets of the night. It's a 9-point game. Bulldogs need to make up space.
And they need a little hurry up here from any of their players, really, to get something going.
They're left in a tough position as it's a quick steal. Moving so fast our cameras couldn't even pick it up. And a fast break nailed chance. Beautiful job by Smith, who's been excellent this game. Angel Smith, probably the 2 out there on the roster for Woodbridge. Pfeiffer takes a long 2 and can't make it go. It's been a really tough night for Pfeiffer, the captain. And I think that might be one of the major reasons that it's been a tough night for the Bulldogs, because she's so important to the team. And everyone's entitled to have an off game, right? But when you're the captain, obviously, it just hurts the team a little more. So it's not her fault, but it just feels that much worse for the Bulldogs, who are now, obviously struggling to get points on the board. Here they come down to the baseline. Goes to Zanecki, who rolls off a man, puts it up. It's rebounded by Smith. Smith takes it. Excuse me. That's Johnson with it. Now she'll waste plenty of clock with 20 seconds to go in an 11-point game. And this game seems to be dwindling away as Woodbridge will win their 9th of the year, Jared. A good start to their season. Again, they play a lot tougher teams than Metuchen does. So this is a better than an 8-6 team, a 9-6 for instance. Obviously now they're 9-6, but still better than a 9-6 team, right? They're a team that plays in a higher division than Metuchen, plays tougher teams, bigger schools, and as a result beats up on smaller teams like Metuchen. It was a really good game, though, for Metuchen.
It was a really good game. I liked the aggressiveness and sort of playing up to your competition here. And, you know, this is definitely not over for Metuchen. They have a very, very tough matchup. I believe on Monday it's against Spotswood, who's #1 in the division. That's going to be very important because Spotswood being 7-0, a perfect undefeated divisional record. Metuchen 7-2 here. It's going to be very important down the stretch for Metuchen to pick up these divisional wins, and against such a tough opponent like Spotswood here on Monday, that's going to be very important.
Yeah, but a win like that, Jared, against Spotswood, obviously at home, being able to bounce back would be such an important thing for their season. So sure, they're a tough team, but a win against them makes it that much more important for their season. That much more momentum gets added to their season. So maybe turn things around on Monday. You can join us here on the Bulldog Report to watch that rivalry game between Spotswood and Metuchen. But for now, final score here today, 45-34. As Metuchen falls short of the Barons. You were just watching the Bulldog Report with Ike Bush and Jared Popek. We're signing off for now. We will see you Monday night.